My name's Adam McArthur. You might know me as the voice of Yuji Itadori on Jujutsu Kaisen or Marco Diaz on Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and you're watching FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
Now drink them all. With a fork.
Force is strong with this young Sodawan. Is this diet?
We'll be right back with Adam McArthur. Welcome back to the show, everyone. So my guest tonight is a very well-known animation actor. You know him from the hit anime of the year, Jujutsu Kaisen, that you can watch right now on HBO Max, but you also know him as Marco Diaz in the Star vs. the Forces of Evil that we all know is on Disney XD. But you know what? Let's take a look at a clip.
Say hello to a girl named Star, the magical princess from another dimension.
Why was the word suck in that spell?
Say hello, Star.
Star Butterfly rule!
Now say hello to her little friend.
I'm good.
Star vs. the Forces of Evil premieres Monday, March 30th at 8 on Disney XD.
Sounds cool.
Down with the Mon Cala! Power to the Quarren!
I am dedicated to serving the Quarren, as well as my own people, the Mon Calamari.
Silence! You haven't earned the right to speak at this gathering.
Star Wars, The Clone Wars, New Adventures, only on Cartoon Network.
New Adventures.
The hidden city of San Lorenzo?
We're the bad guys.
Do not touch a hair on his chinny chin chin!
Same boots.
That is, wow. Just wow.
The Adventures of Puss in Boots, now streaming only on Netflix.
Please welcome to the show, Adam McArthur. Adam, how you doing, brother?
I am hanging in there in this warm recording studio.
I see that recording studio.
Yeah.
I thought I heard your mom in the background because don't lie to people right now. I think you got locked in the closet. And,
Yeah. I get locked in here until I'm done working for the day. As long as I have to hit a tier of dollar amount earned before I'm allowed out. So yeah, this is where unfortunately this isn't a paid interview, so it's not really helping. So we're gonna have to hurry, that way I can get back to work.
Yeah, I think it's funny how you're working in the same closet you grew up in, where you get thrown into, because your mom's like, I don't want to hear another voice. You know what? Just go in the closet.
Yeah.
Now your closet is your studio, which is great. It's kind of ironic. I love it.
Yes. Luckily, I will say my family growing up was always very encouraging of what I wanted to do, and they never made me go in the closet, so that's good.
It's kind of funny that you brought that up. I wanted to pop right in there. A lot of people kind of discover what they wanted to do when they're real younger. You kind of discovered it around 16, where you were kind of like begging your parents, like, get me an agent. You took acting classes. You were, raised in a small town around San Francisco. But it happened really quickly for you. Just tell me about that process once you started taking classes and then you went right into an agency and then 30 commercials later.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because people ask me all the time. They're like, man, what can I do? Like, I want to do this. How can I get started? And I'm like, I'm not the right person to ask, because I feel like I had a very unique, because you're right, it happened very quickly. I pretty much always begged my parents to put me in an acting class. And then when they finally did, I just took to it. Like, I've always loved, performing and stuff like that for the family. And then when I got in class, it just felt very natural. The owner of the acting school had some auditions come through the school, and they were looking for young male voices. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to have you audition. Do you want to audition? And I was like, yes. And then that's what happened. I ended up booking, like you said, it turned out to be like 30 commercials, radio commercials for Macy's.
Wow, yeah.
But what I didn't know is at the time the Screen Actors Guild was on strike. And because I wasn't in it and I didn't know what that meant. So they were like, "Oh, do you want to do these jobs?" And I was like, "Yes." And so while I was doing them, in the midst of those 30, the strike ended. I was able to get Taft-Hartley'd, which is like this kind of not sneaky way in. It's not sneaky. It's totally legit, but it's just like your stepping stone into the union. And then I was in the union, saved my money from those commercials, made an animated animation demo reel, and yeah, got an agent pretty much right away. So,
which is crazy, man. I mean, that's lightning right there. People talk about lightning striking. Usually there's thunders and rain clouds and everything building up to it. You literally hit it on the mark. But I mean, let's just face it, voice acting is a very, very particular job. It's a tough job. And I don't think people understand the work that you guys have to put into. Like, it's a 24-hour grind, and your voice. When I was speaking to Rob Paulson, because he went through cancer and he had to redevelop his voice, I don't think people understand that your voice is the key to the entire success of your career. How do you work your voice out in order to do that?
Yep, warming up, things like that. Yeah, I mean, there's days where I have back-to-back sessions, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I've got to figure out how to manage these things. There's a lot of tools, and the deeper you get in, the people who you surround yourself with are always helpful with tips and things like that. But there are like, I forget what the exact name of them is, but there are these little metal straws that a lot of us use.
Yeah.
I swear by them. But when I warm up, or if I'm going to have a difficult session, and you basically like put it in a cup of a little bit of water and you just blow bubbles, but it warms, it just gets everything loosened up. It warms your throat up. It prepares you for those more laborious sessions and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm also just really lucky, but I haven't had any jobs where I've had to scream my head off. And I have friends who they're basically their bread and butters. They're hired to come in for video game work, or they're screaming as an army lieutenant in Call of Duty. But for me, I've always, I guess, sound like I'm 15, so so they're less yelly and more like like younger sounding kind of whatever voices. So.
Oh, it's great. And I think the only straw with bubbles I ever done is hookah. So, but I don't think that will like.
Yeah, a little different, but maybe it works. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Now, the character you play right now, first of all, congratulations, 2022 Anime of the Year in the Tokyo, Anime Festival. That's a huge compliment because Tokyo, Japan, China, they're very particular about who they give their awards to, the shows, they're perfectionists, and you got that honor. That's a huge honor, so congrats on that, which is really cool. Yeah, the character is Itadori Yuji, is that correct?
Right? Itadori Yuji or Yuji Itadori, yes. Yep.
And the show is Jujutsu Kaisen, correct?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Now you can just hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaisen, how you doing?
Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
You're starting to realize I'm Italian. Like, hey, Jujutsu Kaisen, how you doing?
It sounds delicious, whatever it is.
Now, what's crazy? Not only did you want to be a VO actor when you were a kid, you're a 3-time black belt. So I think there was a path that you took that I think was designed for you, to be honest with you, because you went into VO acting, but now you're a major star in a Japanese anime film. And you're a karate 3-time black belt, which you also teach Kung Fu and Judo, which is amazing. How do you feel? Do you feel there was fate for you going on with this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, people ask me this all the time, like, oh, your characters do martial arts. Do you think that doing actual martial arts helps you in these situations? And I definitely think there is an element of that. I think anytime you know what it feels like and sounds like when you're punching someone or getting punched and you're having to do these efforts or relay these kinds of emotions in a scene, it helps. But I would say more so than anything, I think doing martial arts really just prepared me for the journey of being an artist, the journey of being an actor, and sort of the ups and downs that you take and have in a career like this, where sometimes you're feasting and sometimes it's famine, and you know, it's just like martial arts training. Sometimes you're standing in a stance and your legs are shaking and the sweat's dripping off your nose and you feel like you're going to fall down, but you have to push through. So you get used to, like, you know, being uncomfortable, which is basically, if you want to succeed as an actor, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because there's just so many things about having that as a career that are uncomfortable. The instability in the income, the instability in, you know, the psychological aspect of being an actor, of like I always think back to this, to before I was working like regularly in animation. I think back to one of my first regular gigs in voiceover, and I was the voice of the Geek Squad.
Right.
So when you called into the Geek Squad, I was like, hey, thanks for calling the Geek Squad. Press 1 for technical help. Press 2 for da-da-da. Okay? So they had me go in, and I did like an initial, like, I don't know, like 10 sessions or something like that, which sessions were probably like 4 hours, 3 hours. And some of the sessions were me being like 1, 2, 3, like to 1,000, because they needed different combinations of numbers so that they could move them around. And then once the initial session was done, every like 6 months they would bring me back in for like an hour, just like, you know, record new addresses or whatever. Okay. I always think back to this one time. I went there and I hadn't had a job for a bit, and I was like, all right, you know what? I got a Geek Squad job today. I'm thankful, you know? And I tweeted right before I went in, and I was like, I got a voiceover job. And I went in, and it was literally, they just needed me to say like one word or one line. I said it and came back out. And the timestamp on the following tweet was like 1.5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, something like that. And I was like, I'm unemployed again. And that 1.5 minute job to no job is the epitome of an acting career. So yeah, you just, martial arts has prepared me thoroughly for that kind of roller coaster.
Yeah, and now that I know that you were the voice of the Geek Squad, I got a gripe to pick with you, man. Just like the guy from Movie Phone, because first of all, I don't go to the place that I want to go, and then I keep hearing your voice, which is really weird to me right now, that I'm actually hearing the voice that I used to listen to when I tried to get my computer fixed.
Yeah,
I have an opportunity now, and I have to take advantage of it and be like, listen, man, you killed me. You kept me on hold for like half an hour.
Bro, I'm just the messenger.
The wrong movie. Yeah, man, I ended up buying tickets to like some Disney film. By the way, I like Disney, but I didn't want to go to that, so I can't. But it's just, that's crazy, man, that you did Geek Squad, and they charge too much. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When they told me the price, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna go buy a new computer because it's about $100 more. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is crazy, man. But first of all, which is great, Disney, I have to congratulate you on all the stuff that you're doing, and I'm going to do it over and over again. But you're getting to work with Disney now. I think that's every VO or any cartoonist's dream, is to get a shot to work with Disney. I mean, I've been interviewing Disney people like crazy right now, and you guys are a lot of fun. I mean, your characters on and off screen. And I'm starting to understand why Disney has such a great reputation, because its employees are amazing people. You have great personalities. You can hear it on screen. Yeah. But now that I get to meet you now, and I could see why Disney is such a huge impact in this world. So congrats on that. Because you're in the family now. I just interviewed Trevor, the musical. I got Kaiden coming on next week from Villains.
Awesome.
Cool. And you're so young, bro. Like, I'm an old dude. Like, you mentioned you're a part of SAG. Listen, I'm going to be a part of SAG.
Nice.
I wish they would change the name, because when I hit 90, I don't like telling people I'm part of SAG, because I'm trying to hold it up still.
They're like, yes, you are.
Yeah. Do you have something like AARP, like
at 90?
Can we do something like that?
Yeah. At 90, though, you've earned it. You know what I mean? You're allowed to SAG at 90, I believe. Why not?
which is amazing. Now, you're really known for, originally, Marco Diaz. That was kind of like your pinnacle. How do you like doing that role, man, compared to the other roles that you've been doing today?
Oh man, it's really hard for me to compare. I am very fortunate in that I get cast, and at least historically, I've been cast as really unique characters for the genre that they're a part of. Marco Diaz was such a unique character. You don't really see characters like him in Western animation often, like a male teenage character. Usually they're a little wild or loud or, they like want to be cool. Marco was sensitive and loyal and really just wanted to be a good friend. And it was very cool. My whole experience on Star versus the Forces of Evil was amazing. That was my first big series. As series regular, I was hosting a documentary about Kung Fu, where I got to travel to China and Russia and all these amazing places. And my last day of filming that was here in LA. And I was taking like a 2-hour break in my hotel room. I got put up in a hotel room in downtown LA, and I was sort of waiting around this time to maybe hear something from my agent about, these auditions that I had been going in on repeatedly for Disney for this show. And I was on a 2-hour break, and I was in my hotel room in downtown, and my phone rings, and I look down and I see CESD Talent. It's my agency. And I'm like, I know what this is. I know what this is. I don't know. I'm like looking, I'm holding my phone and I'm like, yeah, I can't answer it. I throw it on the bed and I'm like, I'm going to let it go to voicemail. I'm going to let it go to voicemail. I'm just going to wait. And so the voicemail pops up, and Pat Brady, who has since retired from CESD, had left me a message, and it said, Adam, honey, it's Pat. You are Marco Diaz. You are Marco Diaz. Congrats, honey. You did it. And it was just this moment of like listening to that message. I never sold that iPhone. I still have it just because it has that message on it. I'm going to keep it forever. But yeah, what an incredible feeling. I think, since I have been doing this so long, I just felt like I was always meant to be doing it. And,
of course.
There's times when auditions are slow or when you're not booking something and you think to yourself, like, man, is this feeling wrong? Like, I have this feeling that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Is this feeling wrong? And it's not lost on me how fortunate I am and how lucky I am to have gotten to experience the validation of getting a call like that after having that feeling. I think I feel really very fortunate. But my entire time on Star was amazing. Darren Nefsey, who created it, she was incredible. All the cast, the guest stars, the crew, the show itself was really well received by fans. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't get a message or a notification on social media when fans are asking me, is there going to be a season 5? Is there going to be a season 5? But so hopefully, by the way, but you never know.
I think it's incredible. I mean, your career has been climbing like lightning struck, but you just kept going, where you're creating your own thunderclouds, your own weather. And I mean, the weather just keeps growing and growing. And the forecast gave you the Clone Wars, right? That gave you Star Wars. You got to work with LeBron James. I mean, you're literally working at the top of your class right now. Now I'm going to ask you the first question I've never asked the other voiceover actors, and I did like 6 or 7 of them. Do you ever find yourself typecasted? And the reason why I'm asking that is voiceover actors always starts out as actors, right? There's a difference. Do you find yourself being called and booked more just for voice acting instead of being on screen yourself as a character? Are you starting to be, because at the end of the day, you're an actor first, no matter what, and you love voice acting. But I do know that there comes to a point where people don't know exactly who you are because they've never seen your face. Like when I stood next to Jessica Darrow at the Pride Parade, because I did that whole parade, not realizing that she was the voice of Lauren Madrigal on Encanto.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it until we connected on Instagram. Like, do you ever get that feeling like, hey, I would love to do some more acting?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first started and when I moved down to Los Angeles, gosh, almost 20 years ago, and even before then, when I lived up in the Bay Area, I had done a few movies. When I first moved to LA, I had a lot of success early on camera commercially. Like I was doing a ton of commercials that I was in.
Mhm.
I think just like as a business owner, like thinking about my career as a business,
Yeah.
when stuff becomes obvious, like paths become obvious, it would be silly for me to kind of ignore those or be like, no, that's not good enough. I want to try something else. So I do feel like a path has really cleared for me, and I've sort of found a home and
Yep.
a space for myself in this industry in voiceover. But I do still work in other areas. Yeah. So I have I have actually 2 short films coming out. I don't know exactly when. They should be coming out here around September.
Great.
One of them is with a director named Nick Acosta. He's amazing. He's a visual effects artist initially, editor at CW, works at Warner Brothers, does a bunch of stuff. He's got a fantastic eye for action, and because of my martial arts background, I've always wanted to do some stuff like that. So we have a short called The Pickup that's coming out pretty soon, and then another one that's untitled as of right now, but it's based on some comic book IP where I play this sort of. He's like the leader of a tech, not the leader. He's like the owner of a tech firm.
Nice.
So he's kind of got this like tech bro vibe, but he is the villain of this story, and he's a telepath, and it's got this whole like comic book kind of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but with John Wick style action.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be pretty cool. So I am always trying to evolve and have my ear to the ground and do things that I find really fun. I'm fortunate to have a career where I'm not worried about where the next job will come from or how I'll feed myself or pay for my mortgage or anything like that. So I'm always kind of keeping my ear out and trying to pursue things that are fun and fulfill me creatively, and that also are with great people, because as I've grown in the industry and been here for a long time, I really feel like the people for me is where it's at, and collaborating with people who I find uplifting and positive and all the other positive words is really kind of what excites me the most.
I love it. I think you answered that perfectly, and thank you for answering that question, because I never asked the other guys. And I was thinking about it today. I'm like, you know what? I don't think voice actors really ever get asked that question, because a lot of your interviews are so in tune with, hey, what are you doing this? But there's so much more to you. And voice actors, to me, are one of the most skilled actors out there, to be honest with you. I mean, you go through a lot. And I think I want people to know that, to see your skill set, because it's like comedians. Some of the best actors in the world are actually comedians, because if you ever notice, half the Oscar winners started out as comedians.
Yeah.
Because it just shows your range. And as a voice actor, just doing different voices, you got to be very comedic. You also got to be a little drama as well. I think it's pretty amazing. Now, you mentioned entrepreneur. You have a great company called the Bus Booth Company, where you took that 70s show type of VW and you put a booth into it. I love the concept. Like, it's creative. Where did you even get this idea to do something like that?
Well, in 2011, I was paddleboarding in Marina del Rey.
Okay.
Amongst these big yachts, and I was sort of looking around, and I'm like, man, who owns these things? Like, someone's got to own these things. And as I just kind of like let that thought kind of roll and continue, I'm like, man, somebody has to own these. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, someone out there is the person who makes enough money to be able to buy these things. And I was like, why can't I be that person? Not that I want a yacht, but I was just thinking about it, like, why can't I be that person? Is my idea of success sort of defined by, like what I grew up seeing my parents, have and stuff like that? And so I just had this idea of like, man, I feel like I'm holding myself back, not striving for more.
Right.
And, at that time, like, I had a manager who was not a good manager in LA. I mean, he was good and well known in terms of like what he would do, but as a person, he was not good. And he used to instill a lot of things that were not good into his actors. never leave town. If you're doing anything besides acting, quit and just act. Like you have to be all in or nothing. And I was thinking about this stuff, and I really feel like I listen to a lot of it because as a martial artist, when you have a teacher or someone who's a higher up, you listen to what they say and you do it.
Right.
That's it. So I
Right.
just took this stuff to heart, you know, and things like people would say like, oh, are you an actor? Well, what do you do? You must be a starving artist or da, da, da. And I was like, man, these are all sayings that I just like accepted as truth. Starving artist. I'm like, I don't want to be a starving artist.
Yeah. You know where that comes from, right? That meaning?
No.
Well, I did a lot of research, and just to interrupt you, starving artist, what I got out of it is what your manager tried to instill on you, which is the worst advice. I always tell people, until your art career, your passion pays your bills, keep your day job.
Yes.
The reason why there's
100%.
a starving artist is because people go after their career,
Right.
but they can't pay their cell phone bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and
So anybody that tells you not to work, that's the dumbest advice in the world. It's like, oh, don't work, but I can't go to McDonald's because I can't even afford a Happy Meal. That's just
Right.
great. Thanks, man.
Yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
here I am paddling around all these yachts, kind of having this like, I don't know, introspective moment with myself. And I'm like, you know what? I've got to strive for more. And I was like, okay, you know, so much is out of your control when you're an actor. You know, you
Yep.
can send in best auditions, but then you just, you know, wait. And I don't really like waiting. So I have a good buddy who him and his wife at the time were wedding photographers, and his mentor was like, hey, you should start a photo booth rental company. And he was like, I don't really want to do that. But he had told me about it. And I was like, you know what? I bet I could run that company for him. So they live about an hour and a half north out of LA. And I basically started running their company for them. And about 7 or 8 months into it, I was like, all right, I've been driving like, you know, 100 miles each way on the weekends to run this company for my buddy. I was like, I should start my own. So in early 2012, I started my own photo booth rental company. I started by booking events that were booked when his booth was available so that I could borrow his equipment to fulfill my events. And every event I booked, I didn't spend the money. I saved it until I could afford my own booth. And then I booked enough that 6 months later, I bought another booth. And then about 6 months after that, I was like, man, I want to do something that's more unique than just a regular photo booth.
Yeah.
So I bought a 1970 Volkswagen bus and I put a photo booth inside of it. And at first it was like, I was thinking about maybe like a Mini Cooper, like a vintage Mini Cooper or a vintage Volkswagen Bug. But I think, you know, just how many people can fit in that wouldn't necessarily be ideal. So the Booth and Bus Co. was born after that. And
such a great idea.
Yeah, we have worked for pretty much any big corporation you can think of. Google, Amazon, Hulu, Netflix, many, many more. We do a ton of corporate events. In 2019, pre-COVID, so obviously things slowed down. No events were happening during 2020. But pre-COVID, we were doing like 250 events a year, and I had 5 employees. And yeah, I was like, I wanted something that wasn't entertainment related, even though we still do events, you know, for rap parties, Ellen and This Is Us. We've done a bunch of stuff for. But yeah, I just wanted something else to think about besides acting that could pay my bills. And it really frees up your mind when you don't have to worry about where your next paycheck's coming from.
That's right.
And yeah, actually I am in talks right now I'm so busy acting now that I'm in talks, and it's looking like 2022, the company will no longer be mine. I am selling it and kind of starting the next chapter. So
yeah, there's nothing like getting bought out. Let me be honest with you. Let me tell you something though. It'll be really cool. I know you got Comic-Con coming up, which is a big thing in any anime comic.
Yeah.
You know what I would love to see? Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about it. I think Comic-Con would freak out over it. If you had somebody paint your bus of all the characters and animes that you've done all over the bus and put that booth right in Comic-Con, I think it would draw people to you. I think people would pay to take a photo and be like, oh my God, and your bus would be your advertisement of the Clone Wars and Cartoon Network and Disney and all the characters all over this bus design. I think every comic person would pay to get a picture in the bus that's pretty much promoting all the characters that you've done. And I think you would be a hit in Comic-Con.
I like it. Yeah, that would be fun.
I think it would be crazy. And you're doing it here in New York, correct?
I'm not doing New York Comic Con. I'm going to be doing Anime NYC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the big anime convention out there. So,
and when
I'm
is
excited.
this coming out? So let my fans know, when is Anime NYC coming out?
Oh man, hold on. Keep it going. Okay, convention dates. Hold on. Found the document. Convention dates.
We got
Anime NYC is November 17th through the 21st of 2022.
And the crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And also buys tickets to Anime NYC.
Exactly. And that was the weirdest drum roll ever. That was
it was
great,
long.
man.
I apologize, but thank you.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Listen, that's what the show's all about. We have fun. We have to, we got to create stuff while we're doing it. But yeah, man, I would love to see that van. You should call them and do it because I think they would love the idea. I think it would. I think your booth would be visited like crazy. And then you may be able to sell your company for more money with the bus just like that.
Just wrapped in vinyl of all my characters. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like a special bus. It'll be one of those they can rent your company, but if you want this type of bus, you got to pay a little extra for the advertising.
Love it. Yeah.
I think it would be dope, man. So besides anime coming up, I know you have your shows going on and the movies coming out. What should we be looking forward to coming up now that people should watch? Should it be, the ones that you're doing now? Or is there something we don't know about yet?
Yeah. So, there's another show that I'm on called Shadow's House. It's sort of like this kind of creepy anime with kids. It's not necessarily for kids. It's for a little bit of an older audience, but, we're recording season 2 right now. So you can check out season 2 of Shadow's House on Crunchyroll. What else is coming? There's something coming that I can't quite talk about yet.
Okay.
Gosh.
No NDAs. No NDAs.
Yeah, no NDAs. I'm trying to think. Yeah, as of right now, that's the only thing that I can talk. That's the only thing that I can say. Shadow's House season 2, but it's currently airing in Japanese, and the English dub should be premiering here in the next couple weeks. Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of conventions, so I always post convention appearances on my social medias channels. I'm at NinjaMac everywhere, which is NinjaMac. And anytime I'm allowed to finally announce things, I always post on there too, because I have a few video games coming up. I've got a movie. Obviously, we've got season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen coming. That's probably going to be early 2023.
Yep.
And yeah, everything else will be posted as soon as I get the okay.
Well, I love it, and guys, and I'm glad you said it because you have so much going on. Normally, I would pop the promo for you, but you have a list, and then half the stuff is in Japanese, so I'm not going to screw up the name, and I'm going to let you do that. And I'm glad we all know how to follow you because I want people to follow you more. And brother, thank you for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton, man. I think this is pretty great, and again, congratulations on lightning striking and taking that thunderstorm to the next level, brother.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for a great interview. Mom, let me out of here.
So Adam, first and foremost, brother, thanks for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton, and I hope your mom let you out of the closet. Come on, Mom, let him out. He's doing a great job. Get him some meatballs. Get him meatballs. I think you burned it because, he was on Jujutsu Kaisen. It gets a little Italian food. But anyway, brother, congratulations on everything that you've done in the animated world so far. And we look forward to your up and coming films. See your face on camera this time. And guys, if you don't know, like we said before in the interview, check them out in November in New York City at Anime NYC. Go buy your tickets. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. I know I did. But until next time, everybody, if you're not living a passionate life, then whose life are you living? Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
I'm not always on YouTube, but when I am, I make sure I'm subscribed to FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
Be thirsty, my friends.